you're finally seeing these last 2 episodes the way that Erika's been acting, how she really has been in previous seasons.
Maybe Jordan referred to her as the greatest villain in at least Beverly Hills history. Up until 2-3 episodes, I hadn't seen that at all. She couldn't stop fixating on the collusion thing.
She will sometimes get so upset about things, and you're like, "What is this coming at?" Like, she got really mad. They were in Hong Kong. Eileen Davidson just said something, and she just snapped, and she just went after Eileen, and everybody was like, "What?" She said this to Dorit. "I say smart, you say stupid." Like, she said that to Dorit on a boat. Like, she gets on a boat, and she just loves to go after people. Like,
It's almost like she wanted sole credit for the villain move she was doing. I don't want people to think, oh, this is me and Dorit doing this together. I want credit for this. I want my spotlight, because she hasn't had her spotlight.
We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
it's PCP Thursday, everybody.
Hey.
We had to get that in there somehow. Since Mr. Jordan is not with us today, sadly, they left him in St. Lucia with Avi.
Yeah. Well, they're having the time of their lives, though.
If you've never seen Jordan Rossmeyers in feathers and crystals, you have not lived.
True. Yeah, he and Avi are making chocolate together. It sounds divine.
And drinking lots of rum punches.
Drinking with that weird, they mentioned it was just one of those marketing things again, where they mention the rum by name and then show all the bottles. They haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I think it was Captain's Reserve, I think is what it was.
Something like that, yeah, that sounds right.
Anywho, well, we're here. We got to the finale.
Finally. Not finally. I actually kind of enjoying this season. How did it to you, how did it rank as far as finales go? I have not, this is only my second Beverly Hills finale. Was it and honestly, last year's finale, big letdown. I don't know if you remember it. It was 55 minutes of nothing that it ended with the white party. But nothing really happened. But then that flash forward was when everybody found out about Mo and Kyle. So that was interesting. This was the reverse. This was most of it was interesting because there are a lot of fights, a lot of this, a lot of that. But then that flash forward was just a weird letdown. That was Erika with the conviction. Because obviously we already knew about that, but also the women, they didn't get any women to participate in that.
Also, that was not a storyline during the season.
Not at all.
Erika's storyline was wallpaper and typically playing Zen and trying to play Switzerland until the very end. So it's not like her storyline was, I'm having, thoughts or issues or whatever. Literally all the trauma dumping she did at the very end about how she felt about Tom's conviction.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's the Mo and Kyle news breaking in the, what was it, People magazine, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, last year it was I think it was People it was People magazine. All the women, it was them interacting with each other, calling each other, being like, oh my God, did you see this? Did you see this? This time it was just Kyle showing up to Erika's, probably because the producers are like, Kyle, can you go over there? We need something. Because the other women didn't really, they did a weird thing where
Kyle, you're her only friend, really.
Go act like it's important. Because they randomly only showed 2 other shots during the flash forward. It was Garcelle with her grandkid, and then Sutton with a dead, was that a squirrel or a rat in the backyard?
Like a rat.
That was not, story-wise, that was useless. Why they even use that at all in a big flash forward seemed very odd. It's
got to show Sutton being hysterical. Got to show
something. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my girl. She made it really hard this season to love her, really, especially in the last 3 episodes. I was getting really annoyed with her this episode, but I still love her. I still do. But man,
let's talk about that a bit. Let's talk about Sutton, I mean,
Yeah.
I found it interesting, like the end of the beginning of the episode. She's just sitting on the boat trying to calm herself. Jennifer
Yeah.
Tilly just gives her water. But then immediately we go into like they're going to this birthday dinner for
That
Dorit and
she doesn't want to go to.
she doesn't want to go to. And I was just like, okay. What I did think was funny was that Kyle asks Kathy what she's wearing, and she says t-shirt and
Yeah.
shorts. And Kyle laughs like it is a joke, but it is not a joke. Not a joke.
So Kathy this whole season has been like a comic relief, basically.
Yes.
Which is so weird because last season, and again, I mean, I repeat this so many times. I don't know prior to last season how Kathy was on the treated. Like last year, remember she didn't show up till the reunion. Like she was not on all season, but she was spoken about all season, like this mythological not creature, but mythological woman that you only speak about in hushed tones. You know, it'd be Sutton and Kyle would be talking about Kathy, and it would be this big important thing. This time, Kathy was like, well, she was a friend of, but she was on a lot. But she was always it like lessened her from last year that she was always just the comic relief this year. It was just Kathy doing goofy Kathy things, like like showing up wearing a t-shirt, or even hell, even before that, it was all the women were doing glam for the dinner, and they showed Kathy eating Cheetos. She was just eating on a bag of Cheetos. And then at the dinner, she's got ice under her arms because she's burning up. And then she goes and does a costume change because she peed herself. Like, there's everything Kathy did was just ridiculous. In a funny way, it'd be very entertaining. It's just very odd compared to how they've spoken about her before.
Well, I think it's the truth of like, so first of all, she's been comic relief in previous seasons, but then she's also been a little bit more heavy-handed at times, but she also is comic relief. However, like she, just like Dorit has said and some other people have said, she's not as dumb as she plays. Like she definitely kind of plays it, but also I do believe that there's a thing where rich people, very rich people are eccentric, are just weird because they are allowed to be. When you have that much money, people let you do weird shit and they just go, oh, that's them because they're rich. And some rich people do it to the detriment of others, and some people do it to the comedic relief of others. Yeah. And in this instance, Kathy's kooky richness, at least in the world of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, works, to her favor because it, is kooky and it's weird. And then she's kind of on, it's like, I honestly could not believe that she admitted that she peed herself. Not that is something bad. I just was surprised that she was like willing to do that on camera.
Yeah.
Not that she wouldn't tell the rest of the women that in general, but I just was like, oh, she's willing to say that on camera. Okay. All right. Like,
well, I mean, she did lessen it by saying, what'd she say? I tinkled a little bit or something like that.
Yeah, but she also then said there's something in the sand.
That's true. Like, oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean, just imagine, I mean, you're right. It's total. I mean, somebody of her stature and wealth and power can wear a t-shirt and shorts. Imagine if Dorit did it, everybody'd be like, oh, she's poor. She must really be Poorit. But yeah, Kathy, it's like, fine. She can do it. She's allowed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have before that while they're getting ready, Garcelle and Jennifer talking to Sutton saying, look, your best friend, Kyle, did not stand up for you there on the boat. And Jennifer then also positing that she felt that perhaps, maybe Dorit and Erika were setting Sutton up, that this was a coordinated attack or whatever. And I will just say this, that like, and it's funny because then they show a montage of the Fox Force 5, which you've heard about, but you haven't ever seen them in their glory. But Fox Force 5 coming after Sutton, which is a real thing. I mean, it really is true. And like Jennifer and Garcelle, like they see it, that Sutton is loyal to Kyle, but it's not the other way around. And I go, well, but we've been talking about since the beginning of the season and before that this is the way how Kyle wants it. She wants loyalty to herself, and her loyalty to others is kind of conditional. I will
Mhm.
say this, I think her loyalty to Fox Force 5 is above everybody else on that one, and definitely above Sutton's. And but I don't think that I appreciate Jennifer and Garcelle thinking that maybe it was a coordinated attack. As much as I would love to, I don't think it was. I just think it's like they've been Erika and Dorit, just like later on in the morning, like the next morning, Erika and Dorit have been talking about Sutton so much and have these same gripes about her off camera or like away from her, that when this confrontation with Erika comes up, they're just parroting each other. They're saying the
Mhm.
same things. They're just echoing each other. So it seems like coordinated, or it seems like an attack like that. I mean, the thing is that Erika doesn't, in my opinion, really have a leg to stand on when it comes to Sutton, because she gives it to Sutton. She's given it to Sutton just as much as Sutton has
Mhm.
given it to her. Actually, I don't even feel like Sutton has really given it to her, because Erika has literally yelled, and we've seen it in those montages, like literally yelled at Sutton, has come at her like with such bite. And I'm just like, and then she goes, well, these women like Sutton can dish it, but can't take it. And I go, none of you can.
No.
None of
No,
you
they're
can.
all thin-skinned. Kathy
Yeah.
might be the only one who actually, if they came at her, she might, I mean, probably
I don't
could
know.
take it. But especially with the coordinated attack thing, remember at least last week watching it live, Dorit was not there. Dorit and Kyle were up front
Not
on
for
the
half of
boat.
it.
Yeah, so
No.
Erika started that, and Dorit actually said to Kyle, "What's going on back there?" So a
Mhm.
coordinated attack would not start like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, Erika and Sutton have not had any issues. I mean, yes, like you said, Erika's been peacemaker all year, but it seemed to come out of nowhere. Like, obviously, it had been building up. Erika, in her
Yeah.
mind, had been, like, building up, and she had to release it. But everybody else was sort of taken aback, like, "Where did that come from?"
Yeah. Yeah. And I think maybe that's now that you're saying that, I think maybe that's why to Garcelle and Jennifer it maybe seemed coordinated, because they're like, wait a minute, why is this coming from
I
Erika?
don't Yeah, yeah.
If this came from Kyle or if this came from Dorit, we would understand because of stuff that Sutton has said in the course of filming. But because like she hasn't come after you, like why is this happening now? Like why are you bringing
Mm,
this up in this manner with this like vitriol? Because it wasn't like she just came at her like, hey, you just seem to have this thing lately. She came at her very
mhm.
forcefully, and I don't know if no, Erika knows what she's doing. Like Erika's got a
She
sharp tongue.
Well, Erica's been talking about this for a while, but it's always been in the confessionals. She's been,
Mhm.
anytime Sutton's been fighting with Dorit or anything, Erika doesn't say anything in the moment, but in the confessional, she starts exactly what she told Sutton on the boat.
Mhm.
But I mean, so clearly she had pre-planned this and was ready to do it. But yeah, no, it didn't look like she and Dorit were coordinating anything.
That's interesting. That's interesting they said that. And I think that's maybe why Erika got so pissed off at Garcelle and Jennifer for suggesting that it was a coordinated attack, because I think it was not a coordinated attack. However, Erika had been thinking about saying this, wanting to do this. So it was an attack from Erika,
Mhm.
but it
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily a coordinated attack. So it's like she's like, I'm so upset that you would say anything like this. But it's like, but girl, you did like, okay, you didn't coordinate it with Dorit, but you had decided that this was going to be your moment. This was your
Well,
moment that you were going to go after Sutton.
and notice the only 2 women that weren't there, Kyle and Dorit, were the only ones that really had conflict with Sutton all year. So it's like Erika saw them gone and was like, "This is my moment. I'm gonna go in now." So it was almost the opposite of coordinated, because she was doing it to make, while the other women were gone.
Mhm.
So,
I'm going to
yeah.
stand up for my friends. I'm going to stand up for
Yeah.
the rest of Fox Force 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least the boat didn't last long, at least.
Mhm. If
Although
anything, I think
there was the one thing on the boat where Jennifer Tilly was handing her the water, and she, like, Sutton sort of the victim thing again, where what was the line she says? They wanted to break me, they wanted to break me for years." Like, she told that
mhm.
to Jennifer Tilly on the boat, and then the whole rest of the episode is her talking about how she's been attacked about everything.
Mhm. I I wrote down And Sutton, I mean, there's something that I recognize in Sutton that I recognize in myself too, that like Sutton was not the popular girl in school. She
Yeah.
wasn't. She wasn't the
Yeah.
popular girl, and she wasn't rich either. Like she married into wealth. She married into money. And she's a little odd, she's a little strange. And so like there's sometimes I definitely give Sutton a little bit more of a pass because I get it when like you can't when you do feel attacked, when you do feel like everybody's coming at you and doesn't understand what you're trying to say, and because maybe you're not as articulate at it, or you're just you're there. Well, look at me not being articulate, but this is the problem though, is that Sutton still, she wants to be accepted by the popular girls so badly, and that's popular girls meaning Fox Force 5, so badly. That's why she's willing to like put up with the shit from Kyle and do that, and willing to kind of like, throw that. But I think she's finally realizing, maybe, I don't know, maybe not, that money cannot buy you friends.
Yeah.
And money can also not buy you happiness. Like this,
Yeah.
and I think hopefully we all reach a point where we go, oh, I finally got this money, but I'm still not happy. I finally got that man that I wanted or that woman that I wanted, but I'm still not happy. I finally got like this success, this like, promotion, but I'm still not happy. She needs to figure out her happiness with herself. And maybe she's starting to with like repairing her relationship with Reba and like dealing with her dad's death and like maybe dealing with her divorce and stuff like that. But she's got we watch her have two great friends, Garcelle and Jennifer, who stand up for her and who call her out on her faults. Maybe not in public, but also on the after show they do. And in private they do on camera. So it's like, you have two real friends there, but she's willing to kind of throw them under the bus in order to be accepted by Kyle, the queen bee. And I just want to shake her and go, you're 50 what years old? Like, stop it. Stop it. You're enough. You're enough, Sutton.
Yeah. What was the Garcelle said it was later on in the episode, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but Garcelle was explaining it to Kyle when it was her, Kyle, and Jennifer Tilly. And Garcelle said, in Sutton's story, you're the hero, you saved the day, saying that to Kyle. Yeah. And Kyle seemed taken aback by that. Like, what? Like she had, it's like Sutton tries so hard wants so badly to be Kyle's friend, and Kyle just doesn't think about, it's the Mad Men gif. Like I feel sorry for you. I don't think about you at all. It's that.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
There is something though to Sutton kind of them piling on her at times, like just as simple as that at dinner where they started doing impressions of each other, and it started out very lighthearted. Like, by the way, Kyle does a spot on Jennifer Tilly. Like that was spot on.
Kyle is very good at impressions. I will say that. There was a time, you weren't watching it then, but they all went to France, and Kyle, they got so drunk on wine. It was hilarious. But Kyle started doing impressions of all the women, and it was just, I mean, chef's kiss. She does great impressions.
I've heard her Kathy.
Yeah. And unlike what Dorit and Erika were doing, which was punching down at Sutton.
Exactly. Yeah.
What Kyle does is Kyle really embodies them and is not punching up. She's either on the level or not punching down. She's either on the level or punching up. She's like making them even better than they are in real life. So that was the problem, because I don't think Kyle even started in on Sutton as far as we know, but it was like all of a sudden Dorit and Erika, which I found ironic with Erika, because Erika, you're from Georgia too.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we know, like, does Erika have any sort of accent she tries to hide, or she just never had it? I think I can totally see her as the type that would try to, hide it. Because
she's from a small enough town.
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
Sutton leans into it. Like Sutton has that amazing sort of Southern accent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, it's,
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go. Yeah. I don't know what I was going to say.
I was just going to say, it's not that people from Atlanta don't have accents, but if you come from the bigger city, you don't tend to have as big of an accent as if you come from the smaller towns. And she's from a smaller town, Erika. So I do think moving up to New York, she probably got rid of it a lot. and moving out to LA. Done.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure as an actress, singer, she didn't want to be thought of as like, I hate that, like a country bumpkin type. Like,
yeah.
oh, you must be from a small town, um, which is kind of what they were doing to Sutton with their,
Mhm.
they were just doing these caricatures of a Southern accent, making fun of her, not really sounding like her, just kind of making her sound like she's just from the middle of nowhere, which
Yeah.
Augusta, Georgia is not. I'm really curious about, and maybe they'll address it in the reunion, but so much of this season, like with the drinking and everything, we've talked about that. It would have, I think Dorit and Erika would have felt differently about Sutton had they been in Augusta and seen the Reba thing and seen all of that, but they didn't.
Mhm.
So like all the drinking jokes and comments, had they actually known more about what happened to her dad, what happened with her mom, they would have felt more empathy. So I'm
Mhm.
curious in the reunion. But at that time they couldn't have known that. Obviously the show
No.
was filming, they couldn't have known. Now that it's aired, now that the reunion is like, I wonder how they feel about it now, and maybe they'll address it in the reunion.
I mean, we'll see it. I doubt that much changes, to be honest with you. I bet Erika doubles down. I bet Dorit doubles down because I bet
Mm.
it's very much of a tit for tat. But you did this to me, and da 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 da. And obviously, Sutton didn't feel safe bringing those women with her, and I
Yeah.
think she had a good right. I think they've proven her correct in
Yeah.
not being safe, but not being a safe place for that. So I don't know. Uh, well, let's move on to like well, just that dinner, I think it was interesting. Oh, the reason I even wrote down that thing about the wanting to be accepted by the women so badly is when, because Sutton kind of breaks down and, she's talking with Kyle and Kyle gets mad at her because she's like, she just likes to repeat, but doesn't want an answer. And I go, she does do that. And that's
No,
very
yeah, that
annoying,
montage
especially.
they cut. I mean, the name I remember, but they started showing the
Mhm.
other things. I'm like, oh, she does that a lot.
Yeah, it's not a good look. It's not a good pattern. But when Kathy came over to her and she was very upset, she's like, I just want to be, can't I just be one of the Barbies tonight? I was like, that just says it all. That just says it
Yeah,
all. Like she just wants to be one of the pretty popular girls. And she
yeah.
just is, she's stuck in high school. And so many of us are.
You could have replaced the Barbies with the plastics, like
Mhm.
same the Heathers, all the
The
same,
Heathers.
all the same.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean,
Definitely.
famous last words, like go before it was post catamaran, pre dinner when I don't remember. She might have been, I think Sutton was talking to Avi, I'm pretty sure, where I mean, these women say it a lot. She's like, I just don't want to fight with anyone tonight. And those are just famous last words on it. If you don't want to fight with anybody, don't go to dinner.
Yeah.
Just don't. Because I
No.
was
Well,
actually, yeah, yeah.
go ahead.
No, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say that like when they sit down to dinner, Bose I guess says something about like what's like what is up with these like women, like it's all about them, or because it's supposed to be about whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what it was, because I said, well, this is the deal, Bose, with like rich middle-aged white women, it's all about them. Like that's the deal, Bose, that's the deal.
Well, even and Garcelle, I don't remember Garcelle and both sitting next to each other. I might be confusing with later on in the episode where they got like they kind of did the head nod, like, yeah, these women,
They definitely did.
yeah, that's those cakes were nice though.
That was fun. That was fun with the cakes.
Yeah,
I loved it when Sutton was like, excuse me, place cards. Like she pulled a Heather Dubrow about the place cards, and I agree. But this is also very much an unpopular person thing, because this is high school, middle school lunchroom trauma of I don't know where to sit. Please tell me where to sit
yeah.
and make it a rule so that I have to sit there and nobody else, or like make sure I'm not sitting next to somebody I don't want to sit next to. I agree. Place cards. If you're gonna have these dinners, oh my gosh, put a fucking place card there, please. Because oh my gosh,
And
yes,
they put her both put her at the end, and that could have been, I'm sure it was on purpose to keep away from certain people because Erica was
yeah,
sort of on the other side down the table, and so was Dorit. So I'm sure there was a time when Sutton be like, why am I being put at the end? Am I, why am
but
I
there
giving
weren't
the
place
yeah
cards.
yeah yeah
There
no
weren't
I'm
place.
saying, oh, there weren't.
No, there weren't place cards.
Oh,
That's
I'm
why she
confused.
was like, there
Got
weren't
it, got
place
it.
cards.
I was
Yeah,
getting confused. Well, and Sutton just showed up last. That's why
Yeah.
she was at the end. Yeah.
So I don't think she liked being at the end, but at the same time, she was spared. She was not across. She was next to
Yeah.
Jennifer. Dorit and Erika are on the other side of her, so she doesn't even have to look at them. So luckily, she's looking across the table at like Kyle, Kathy, Bose, Garcelle. Like so, like I
Yeah,
mean,
okay, so that was more the point I was making, is that if there were place cards, she might be insulted by being put at the end, but she very
yeah,
much in this case wanted to be put at the end because she did not want to be next. She didn't want to be there up until she showed up. She was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. So being at the end, like you said, insulated around the people she likes, I'm sure was great. And
mhm,
I mean, that dinner was fairly short. Not a lot happened. I mean, outside of the
yeah.
impression jokes and things, but like Sutton didn't really say a word outside of her sort of being upset about the impression. She didn't say anything else. And
I
they kind of they showed the dinner was very fast because it felt like the cake came out very fast. I'm like, wow, that was normally it's a drawn out dinner. And this was
mhm.
like, okay, we're at the end. And then when Sutton excused herself, she's like, I'm turning in for the night. I thought she was excusing herself mid-meal, like she tends to do, but she wasn't. That was the end. All the other women got up too. I was like, oh, she's not storming out. She's just ready to leave. And
Mhm.
so is everybody else.
She did seem to be sulking in the corner, though. I
Yeah,
will say
yeah.
that. She did seem to be kinda sucking the energy out of the room. She was like, "Well, I'm in a bad mood. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm gonna make sure everybody fucking
Which
knows that I'm in a bad mood."
yeah,
Which, not the way that I would play it necessarily, but
I can tell
yeah.
you the way I would play it. I would have left St. Lucia. I would, but right after I would have. Well, we joked about last week. I would have dove. What's the dove?
Dove,
Dove off the
dove.
boat like Dorit, but I would not have come back. You just
Yeah.
see me keep swimming. So I wouldn't have made this dinner at all. So give her credit for staying.
Yep. Gotta get that check. Oh my gosh. Well,
That's true.
the next day, Kathy and her supplements, and I was like, "I feel seen. I have, like, that many supplements too." It's like, "There we go. There we go. There we
All the
go."
other women do. This happened. This happened all season. All the other women are going through glam, and Kathy's doing her own glam or version of it, where she's just
Yeah.
doing these supplements, and it's like it's a running joke with production where they just show her adding more and more things. Whereas the other one with the glam, it's really the whole point of their glam is they're talking to their stylist, they're talking to somebody else in the room. Oh, that was another thing. Sorry to skip back to the when the women were all doing their glam before the dinner and Kathy was just eating her Cheetos. Like in Sutton and Garcelle and Jennifer Tilly were all sitting together. And I was cracking up because Sutton and Garcelle were getting their glam done. Jennifer Tilly, did you see right next to
Her
her
hair.
wig? Yeah, the stylist was styling the wig, whereas
Yep.
Jennifer Tilly's just sitting there. And I just found that so funny. Like it hadn't occurred to me all season. I saw somebody online comment about Jennifer Tilly's wigs. Didn't even
Mhm.
occur to me all season she was wearing them because they're not.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean extensions, sure, but I didn't know she was flat out wearing like full wigs.
well, she's
Which
wearing hair pieces. She's been
oh
wearing,
okay, yeah,
like, like, falls and stuff. I mean, I don't know a lot about fake hair. I
you
don't have
think
to
I
wear it
do?
yet. Or yeah, exactly, Mister I've got 2 Mister Cleans that I work with,
Yeah,
so
yeah. We don't know wigs. We don't know wigs at all. Actually, no.
but
Honestly, Jordan might. I don't know.
Jordan might
Yeah,
know a little bit more, but, oh, what was I gonna say about the fake hair? But oh, god damn it. My
yeah.
mind.
I guess
Look, if we want
outside of
any advertisers for, like, menopause and perimenopause supplements, please come our way because I need some. So please send them to me. We had to pause a few minutes ago because I had a hot flash and I had to turn on my fan and I couldn't do this.
it would. I mean,
Oh my
again, it
god.
would have been very funny if we came back and you had the 2 ice packs under your arms.
I mean,
That would have been a
I
great
might in a
callback to
minute.
the callback. Yeah.
No,
The
I was gonna say something about her hair, but oh my gosh. Oh well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, no, I
whatever.
should say I knew that, but see, all the women wear not all of them, most of them wear extensions at various times, some of
Mhm.
them better than others. Sutton's lately have been really
Suns are
bad.
not good.
The length issue is a thing, but I had just up until this point had not seen a stylist specifically styling, like, a hair next to the person who's going to be wearing it. That was just funny to me.
Well, this is it. I have to quote the great uh, Truvy from Steel Magnolias, aka Dolly Parton. There is no such thing as natural beauty.
It's true.
Just like it takes
Yeah.
some effort to look this way. Like it takes.
Well,
There's
that
anytime a guy says he likes a woman with no makeup and he points to a woman with no makeup on, she got makeup on.
yeah.
She got that natural look has makeup on. That big full like head of hair that has some falls in it. That's got some clip-ins in there. Like, oh my gosh, yes. Like her beautiful golden hair. We now know that Sutton is a brunette for sure. So because we've seen those pictures. So
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, the next day it's like they're going back and forth between like kind of like three different
Mhm.
setups. So we've got Bose and Sutton doing chocolate, the beach with Kyle, Jennifer, and Garcelle,
Mhm.
and then back at the villas with Dorit and
Erika.
Erika, and
Yeah.
then Kathy doing what she should be doing now is makeup and facial beauty TikTok tutorials. Like honestly, that's a new. We should talk to Jordan about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
I'm down.
let's do the Bose and Sutton chocolate first. Love it because I love chocolate.
Sure. It did honestly, I really, as I thought about it, I didn't realize how little interaction the two of well, no interaction, just the two of them. But even just
Mhm.
in general, they have had very little interaction all season outside of, some people claiming that Bose just immediately sides with Dorit. So they sort of had a conflict in that she was on the other side, but they
Mhm.
really hadn't had any one-on-one I can think of. And Bose
No.
made a point of saying like, I want to get to know her better, just like she already did with Kyle, like one or
Mhm.
two episodes back, where she said, I don't know Kyle very well. And
Yeah.
they didn't really have much of a heart to heart, though. I thought of Jordan immediately when Sutton quoted Jackie Kennedy, which was nice. Which was it was a great quote. If I told you my thoughts, they wouldn't be my thoughts anymore. It's a great quote, especially
Mhm.
if somebody asks you to talk about something. You're like, I don't want to. I don't want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I think it's great. Well, I did appreciate that like Bose making an effort with other housewives. I think that's very good for new housewives to do that. Granted,
Yeah.
this is well, but I get like I could criticize her being like, well, this is the very end and you're finally doing that. But I also get it. So
Mhm.
I'm not gonna that's just a little nitpicky. Um but like I do I do think that I it was interesting because I say it that like Bravo viewers, but as human beings, we have memories of goldfish. We forget what happens on the previous seasons. Like we'll remember certain things that are important to us. We remember and we forget others. Sutton brought out that Dorit and Kyle asked questions too. They came after Erika, that their husbands made fun of Erika.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's right. Like, there this but again, this comes back to this Fox Force 5. And then I literally wrote this down and I paused and I wrote this down before what was being said next said. I said that um because Sutton's like, I need to care better about Erika and Dorit. And the thing that I wrote down was I said, it's ironic that the two women with the least money and the shadiest husbands go after one of the richest women without a husband whose money is legit. I said, while that wallet comment is very rude, it was
Yeah.
completely on point. And I do think that it hit both of those women. I think while it was directed at Dorit, I do think it hit Erika at where it hurt most. And so, like going back to a couple of episodes ago, when I talked about Dorit's pretty and thin privilege, it's one of those things that, and even for Erika, pretty privilege too, that without the money, you can't necessarily afford that anymore. It's that
Mhm.
old adage of you're not ugly, you're just poor. And
Mhm.
what happens when you lose all this money? You're afraid of so many things. And we could talk about all the different things that Dorit, because she has small children and everything like that. But, here is this woman to them, in my opinion, I'm just projecting this woman, this small woman who's kind of odd, who's not the prettiest in their opinion, because Sutton is those flamingo legs, those fragile legs.
She's beautiful on the inside and out to me. But go on.
You love her.
Go
She's
on. Yeah.
I think she's attractive. Don't get me wrong. I think she's attractive. But if we're putting her next to, as she said, she wanted to be a Barbie. She wanted to be like Erika and Dorit. She obviously thinks that she is not as attractive as Erika and Dorit. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing, is that like they can come at her with those type of things, but like she's like, well, fuck you guys. I didn't have a shady husband. I still have a shit ton of money. And while that isn't the nicest thing to say to people, it's not nice to come after somebody's looks,
Yeah.
It's not nice to come after somebody's like the way that they may be, their personality quirks that they don't have control over. Because we're sometimes, to quote Lady Gaga, we're born this way. There's certain little personality things that we're not going to work out, and they're going to be how they are. So I do think it's funny that then Sutton literally, after I pressed pause, was like, but I need to take care that these women have gone through bad divorces, are going through bad divorces, are losing money, are doing this. And I was like, oh my God, at least Sutton sees that. Sutton sees that.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like her talk with Bose, that was the first time she said any of those things. Which that was nice to hear.
Yeah. And then we got the beach.
The beach, there wasn't a lot from the beach, except for Jennifer Tilly, as always, steals scenes when she was sort of bringing up a serious topic about, Kyle, this divorce is going to be expensive. You gotta be prepared. But then she used her own example where she said that she and Sam Simon at the time of their divorce only had $700,000. And she said something about like the lawyers are going to, it's going to something. I forget what she said, the $50,000, but then
$350,000.
No. But no, in that sentence, Jennifer Tilly said something about we had $700,000, but he was only going to give me it was something. There was $50,000. I can't remember what exactly that number was supposed to mean. It wasn't the dividing in half about the 350. I wish I could, but if you go back and listen to that.
I wrote down that like she said we only had 700,000 in the bank, and he was just going to write me a check for $350,000.
Oh, maybe I just misheard. I may have just misheard.
So he was just going to split it in the middle, and she was but then a friend said you should talk to a lawyer.
That's like, okay. I may have just misheard. Yeah. And then she had the great line where then she got the Simpsons money, and they sort of made a joke
because Kyle was like, well, what did you get? And she's like, I got Simpsons money.
I got a piece of the Simpsons. Then she made the joke. She said, I don't buy diamonds with Chucky money. She said the Chucky money buys my snacks. I was like, it's so funny how I associate all these things with what is Jordan thinking when he hears that. He must have loved the I don't buy diamonds with my Chucky money. That's
right.
Jennifer Tilly's just so self-aware about everything. She's in on the joke. She even, they didn't really show her, but Kyle making fun of her voice, which is one of Jennifer Tilly's most, it's one of the most, I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. Distinctive. Oh my God, I can't even think of words. That's one of her most distinctive things. We talked about this in the premiere where I said I was a little upset that Jennifer Tilly doesn't always speak in that voice. Mm-hmm. But she always had just a good sense of humor about herself. But the Chucky reference, I just thought that was great.
It was so good. It was so good. Oh my gosh. I can't get over how Jennifer Tilly is not just the same age as Kathy, but technically she's older than Kathy.
Older by about 6 months. I was shocked. We talked about this on our group chat. I was like, she's older than her?
She's older than her. 6 months older than her.
Yeah. Not that Kathy doesn't look great, but Jennifer Tilly looks fantastic. Jennifer Tilly's almost 66 years old.
Yeah. No, Jennifer Tilly is 66. She'll be 67 this year.
Oh my gosh, even more.
Yeah. She'll be 67 in September. She's a Virgo, and Kathy's a Pisces. They're on that.
There you go.
Like, dude. Oh my God. It's fantastic. So crazy.
Yeah.
She does. This is, again, and this is no shade to Kathy. I'm just saying because whatever. This is what not having children helps you with. You get lots of sleep. Also, this is what having lots of money helps you with though too.
That
So.
too. And there's probably part of her personality as well. The fact that she doesn't seem to, she lets things roll off, like that she has a sense of humor. She doesn't mind people making fun of her. To live your life that way, you don't have a ton of stress that would age you. Like,
Well, she's talked, well, I think her sister Meg's talked about it a little bit more. I could be wrong, whichever one. But they went through a lot when they were younger. So
yeah.
there's a lot to that story of their childhood. So I think she's kind of, and I'm speaking for her, and I don't know her, but
Do it.
it
If you're
seems
going to
to
speak for her,
me,
do it in the accent.
I don't know, but I think just like if I had to go through like all of this stuff, then maybe I would just I've already been through like the worst. I've been through the worst things like ever. So
That,
like maybe we just like don't have to like worry about all these like little things, that are going on here. All these like crazy women.
you know what? I retract my statement about Kyle doing the best Jennifer Tilly. That was good. That was good.
That needs some work, but not as breathy as I would like it to be. But but she goes up. Anyway. And then we've got the villas, Kathy and her TikTok tutorials, and
Dorit and Erika.
Yeah. It was interesting because like Dorit admits, I have the note that Dorit admits that Sutton is not consistently a bitch or mean. But at the same time I was like, but Dorit and Erika are making that out to be to Bose and to the audience. And she's consistently like this. And I was like, you guys, all of y'all, just like I said earlier, all y'all can dish it, but all y'all cannot take it. All of y'all have been mean bitches to each other at some point or another, or for one season or another. And then you come back. Like, and I don't know, how are you seeing? Because I feel like I was thinking about you during the last two episodes, that I feel like you're finally seeing these last two episodes the way that Erika's been acting. You're seeing her how she really has been in previous seasons.
I only see that in the flashbacks, like we've talked about. I've seen her referred to as, maybe Jordan referred to as, the greatest villain in at least Beverly Hills history. I don't know if he meant all Housewives, all the other franchises, but up until now, up until 2-3 episodes, I hadn't seen that at all. She, ever since last, even though it wasn't, I guess it must have been at the beginning of the season. I think it's when they went to Vegas last year, the whole and that whole Magic Mike fiasco where Sutton walked out, where it was on the plane ride, and Erika said she's basically going to be kind for Lent. She's not going to be the villain anymore, but she just kept that going, the nice person. So it was jarring to see her now where it looked like the gloves are off. But yeah, she's just really, she couldn't stop fixating on the collusion thing that she was accused of. Dorit didn't seem to be all that bothered by it. Dorit's like, really? Why would they think that? Erika was really upset. She was upset when she learned about it. She was upset in this talk with Dorit in the villa. She at the dinner, the next dinner, which we'll get to, she was accusing people, saying like, was it you? Was it you? I was like, why is she fixated on this?
That's why I think that she planned for herself to have that conversation, and I'm being kind by saying conversation, with Sutton on the boat. She planned to do that on the boat. I think she knew, it's good for the story, it's good for the show. We have conflict on a boat. People love that, whatever. But also, I'm going to speak my quote unquote truth, but that's me speaking up for like my friend, not necessarily. And I'm going to throw myself in there too, even though I really don't have a flamingo leg to stand on. So I feel like it's one of those things. It's like there's been, and I'm trying to, it's in the back of my head, but I cannot find it. There's something else where she got she will sometimes get so upset about things, and you're like, what the fuck is this coming at? Like, she got really mad. They were in Hong Kong, and they were on this like big boat, a boat again. They were on a boat having dinner, and she went off on Eileen Davidson. Eileen Davidson just said something, and And she just snapped and she just went after Eileen. And everybody was like, what the fuck? And there's this meme and you can see, she's like, I don't know. She's like, you don't know what I go through every day, blah, blah, blah. And you were like, oh my gosh. And nobody knew. And like, there's many times, like even stuff I put in the promo last week, it was like, I say, she said this to Dorit. I say smart shit and you say stupid shit. Like she said that to Dorit on a boat. Like, she gets on a boat and she just loves to go after people. Like
it's almost like she wanted sole credit for the villain move she was doing. Like she didn't want to share that with somebody else, being like, I don't want to, I don't want us people to think, oh, this is me and Dorit doing this together. I want credit for this. I want my spotlight, because she hasn't had her spotlight for 2 years. I don't know about longer than that. Like, I don't know anything that happened before last season, but if she was like, I want my plot or not an entire plot line because it was the finale, but I want my moment. I want this alone. I don't want credit to be given to somebody else.
Well, she got it. She got it.
She did.
We're talking about her. We're talking about her again, where we haven't been able to really talk about her all season long. So
outside of just her having some good lines, but yeah, this was.
Yeah.
I mean, it took until 10 minutes to the end of the finale for it, but.
I'm also going to call out, like, and this is random, sorry, just because it popped into my head, but it popped into my head the other day and I didn't write it down. Again, like her, like being like, you don't support other women. Oh, you are Dorit's best friend now. Even though, like, I think it was like 3 years ago, whatever, at BravoCon, she was asked a question and it became a whole plot point on a season, that she was asked a question about, like, who do you think will divorce next or who will split up next? And she said PK and Dorit. And Dorit was so upset about that. And at first she was like, I said what I said. And then she had to like eat crow about it. But it was like, well, that wasn't women supporting women when you first were like, I said what I said. Da, 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 da.
Not only did she say that at the BravoCon, me of all people, I know that clip. Because I can even in my head, because the way she even like kind of like nodded her head and then turned around, like very theatrical. I know that, and I didn't even watch the show at that point. So that's, okay.
There's just lots of play. Look, we all do it. We all do it in our lives, selective memories, and deciding on certain things. It's just, I do think it's tough when you're on a reality television show, because we can pull up tape and we can go, here we go.
Yeah.
At least for stuff, like if you're going to talk about it, if you're going to pull these things from things on camera, then things are going to get pulled up on you from on camera.
Yeah.
And you thought you were married to one of the most powerful lawyers in Los Angeles, in Southern California, for a very long time. And you thought that your shit did not stink. And it's hard. And you had a humbling, and it's still hard for you to deal. I don't know how I would deal with that, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that I'm any better than Erika, but I'm just saying that you have not changed. You've not done a 180 from who you were before. And also, my opinion is that money doesn't change people. It just brings out who they really were. So who Erika Girardi was as Erika Girardi when she married him and had all that stuff is who she's always been, and who she will always go back to being.
I find it very jarring when they show the old photos of her and Tom, just the old Erika. Like, I was like, that is not the same person. Good grief.
Again. But I also want to say this too. I thoroughly enjoy Erika as a housewife. I think she is a great housewife when she is not playing two cents. Although I have enjoyed her this season. It's just, we kind of need a little bit of if she had been in the mix too much, I think it would have been too much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was too much going on this year. Like there's so many different conflicts they were going. I mean, they built up the season like it was going to be Kyle and Dorit, and then they just got rid of that plot line like halfway through the season. They made up and it was like, oh, it's over.
I mean, some people were talking, they're like, oh, Sutton's going to end up being the villain of the season. And we're like, what? And now I'm like, oh, now I see how that kind of happened. But I still am just like, I feel like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just reading too much into this. Oh, because we're crazy Bravo people. But, what if Kyle and Dorit were just like, okay, well, we're kind of over this. Like, we can't have the entire season be about us two fighting because we're too good of friends fighting. So
Yeah.
not that they necessarily had a coordinated attack. We're like, let's go after Sutton. But I think maybe just the opportunity, Sutton made a wrong move. And then it was like, well, okay, the Fox Force 5 set their sights on Sutton. Because if Garcelle had made the wrong move, then they could have easily started going after Garcelle.
Yeah.
Although Garcelle puts up a heftier fight, which I'm sad
Yeah.
she's leaving.
Yeah. I mean, and also the Kyle Dorit thing was always kind of stupid. Like neither of them really had a reason why they were fighting. In Dorit's head, it was because Kyle said they weren't really friends. In Kyle's head, it was because Dorit made a few dumb, nothing comments at BravoCon about like ranking her favorite Kyle, Richard, or ranking the sisters, and she clearly ranked Kyle last as maybe there was something behind it, but in the moment they showed that clip over and over again. It was because she had a drink spilled on her and she's like, well, it's not you. Like it was very much taken joking. So like their whole fight, it was like, what exactly are they? And maybe they realized it. They're like, what exactly were we fighting about?
I mean, I get a little bit though, the texting PK.
That's fair. You're absolutely right. That one is totally fair. It's the other little things, but the texting we didn't find out about until a little bit later it wasn't at the very beginning, was it? Wasn't that?
That was towards the beginning.
Was
it?
That was okay. No, that one is very fair. I was just thinking that like just the little stupid things like the other,
Yeah.
But no, the texting PK, I understand how that would be a crossing the line. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the fact that like Kyle just couldn't understand it. I was like, what? How can you not understand that? Anyway. But then let's close it out because we've got Carnival, which I wonder how much production paid for that Carnival. I wonder, did they make Bose pay for that Carnival?
She could. But
could.
Bose looked incredible. That was like they had various levels of. I mean, it was so funny to hear both Sutton and Kathy talk about like how little clothing they were wearing, and I was like, "Real Sutton, you're wearing quite a bit of clothing." And then you see Bose walk in, and it was like, "Oh, see, that is
Bose
not a lot
was wearing
of clothing."
The least. It was like, "Damn, girl."
I mean, if you can pull it off, damn. But that was that. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to see them having fun at the end, I guess.
It was colorful.
It was very colorful. They got some great jokes about how they couldn't fit. That was an odd choice to have them sit at a table wearing those giant feathers. Like I think it was Kyle that was like, "Why are we doing this? This is impossible."
Mm-hmm. When they were sitting down to dinner, which was hilarious, by the way. Like, how long did it take for them to actually maneuver to sit down to dinner? I feel like probably
could have taken the feathers off, probably,
or put them on the back of the chairs. Maybe I don't know. That would work. Anyway, when Erika went after Jennifer and Garcelle, like I was like, oh, now you're coming out like an ambulance chasing lawyer. Like, was it you or was it you? I was like, is this a few good men? Like, you can't handle the truth. Like, I wrote it down and I forgot that Jennifer did this. Jennifer said, why is she being like this? Probably because it's true, because it hit true. And again, I'm going to go, I think it's true, but I think it's just that Erika decided that this was her time to like do this. And then we also have like, Erika, we're having a flashback, which I wish was not a flashback. I wish it was more part of the episode, that Erika and Sutton had a conversation where Erika asked if she knew that Jennifer and Garcelle were asking that question of, collusion or whatever it was. And I was like, the way that at least what they showed in the edit, the way that Sutton answered that disappointed me in Sutton, because it felt like she was throwing Jennifer and Garcelle under the bus themselves. And I was like, because it's one thing to say, no, I didn't know they were doing that. But I was like, well, but I wonder if in another breath, did she say, but we did talk about that. That is something that we did talk about, that was brought to my attention. I hadn't thought about that before, but they thought about it. I didn't know they were going to come talk to you guys about that. So I don't know if that was editing or if that was all Sutton said, and she threw them under the bus. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
to me, that feels like Sutton threw the two of them under the bus.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that Garcelle feels that way from the after show, that she feels that she was thrown under the bus by
I
Sutton.
it's it I think it's really a shame that Garcelle's leaving. One, because
Mhm.
I genuinely enjoy her. I think she's funny. I think I just like her a lot. But because of the cracks in her and Sutton's like you guys have been talking about
Mhm.
how, is she gonna this breakup, and then who is gonna Garcelle gonna be friends with, who's gonna be her ally next? Like, there's just so much they could do with it. Now she's leaving, so we don't know. And in hell, even the last thing Garcelle said on camera, it was before obviously um, the reunion's going to be a different beast. But the last thing
Mhm.
she said on this episode was how much she wanted to get to know the other women, and to get to get closer to the other women. So
Mhm.
clearly in her head, she's like, well, Sutton, there's a crack there with Sutton, but now we won't get to see it. We won't get to
Yeah.
see who, we talked about, like, oh, next season, the big, the next season's conflict is going to be the breakup of Sutton and Garcelle. Now we won't get that.
Yeah.
Because it's certainly, from what we saw here, it looks like it was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes me think, I wonder if, I don't know if how far ahead they announced, but like that's why they kind of have to have Jennifer Tilly come back now, because now Sutton has no allies. If Garcelle's gone, they like Tilly has to. Not that I don't already love and want Tilly to be there, because she's awesome. And this was the first time she was actually included in a conflict. She's always been
Mhm.
like the funny quips on defending Sutton, but not really on camera. Yeah, she hosted one event, the big event of the year, the caviar fight, but
Yeah.
this time she was actually part of the conflict when Erika's pointing a finger at her saying, was
Mhm.
it you? So I was like, oh, see, she's getting involved now. So maybe she will be on it more. I don't know.
Mhm.
But it would be
I mean,
very lonely for Sutton to not have any allies next year.
she'll have to. I mean, it'll be very interesting. I would hope that Jennifer. I mean, although I don't know how Jennifer would be as a full-time housewife, but
Yeah.
but
It's
that's just because I enjoy the way that she is. And so, because also, like, as funny as she is, like, she is very down to earth. Like, a lot the stuff that she was saying to Erica, the way I think that's the problem sometimes, is that with housewives they have to be a lot. And I think a lot of people's gripes about Garcelle is that Garcelle is just not a big enough, confrontational enough personality for a lot of for a lot of people. But I like that, because I feel like you need balance on these shows. And I've said it before, and I've said it, much to Jordan's chagrin when it comes to Orange County. It was like, sometimes you just need a housewife that is just kind of a little bit more normal-ish, who doesn't have a shit ton going on for a season or so, in order to balance other things out, or to be like the Greek chorus of the season. And I feel like Garcelle has been that a lot of the time. And I appreciate that. And I just like Garcelle. And I've said it unapologetically,
Yeah.
I like Garcelle.
I
So I'm
did.
sad that she's going to be leaving. But I also get it. And I think, and if she's feeling off camera, if she's feeling that she's unsupported by Sutton in their friendship and on camera, like with Sutton, then I would also get that. Feeling very alone like that, of like, hey, I thought we were kind of like the outcast group, and we could be like, okay, we could like make this and maybe make some inroads. Because yeah, if she's feeling that like Sutton doesn't have her back, I got to make friends
Yeah.
here. And then she's like, you know what, I've got too much going on in my life.
Yeah.
Or
She don't
whatever
need it.
happens at the reunion, I don't know, we'll
Yeah. I
see.
mean, from at least from the scenes that we've seen, the little trailer for it, it seems like, so, me saying her last line on camera on from this, saying that she wanted to get along with the other women, and then we see in the finale, where at least the way they're cut the trailer, she's storming off saying, I don't,
Yeah.
what is she like? I don't fucking need this, or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, hell, that's a way to go out in a blaze of
Yeah.
glory, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad for her too, is that we know, all of us, like seasoned Bravo fans, know that she obviously decided to quit, because this is not the time before the season finale, or like before the reunion, is not the time when they start firing people. that happens right before filming is supposed to start. So the firing wouldn't start happening till probably late April or early May or June, whenever they're going to start giving out contracts. And then that's when they would tell Garcelle, if she was going to get fired, that she would not be receiving a contract. No, obviously she made this decision to leave. And so that's, and there's very few housewives who have ever made the decision to leave. So I applaud her for that.
It's so funny to hear when somebody says like that they're leaving something because they have other projects to work on. That it's more of a, I don't, you can't fire me because I quit, making it seem like they have a lot of stuff going on. Garcelle legitimately does. And they've shown her for the last 2 seasons all these projects she works on, all these movies, this season they didn't show it as much as last season, but she does have other things to do. It's not, this isn't some excuse for her getting fired, but being like, no, I have a lot of stuff going on. Because some of these women, if they got fired, as we've seen with women who've gotten fired in the last few seasons, they don't have a lot going on. Hell, look how many women are trying to get back.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So, but Garcelle legitimately, I could totally, absolutely see that she did it herself because she has things she wants to do.
Yeah. And she's probably like, I just don't need this shit anymore. Because also, I think, because in previous seasons, they were like, we don't see you enough. We don't do it, because she was working. It felt like, and I could be wrong, it felt like maybe this season she was like, okay, I'm not filming or doing anything else while I'm filming Beverly Hills. But that's like almost like her summer break, yet she is working because she is filming Beverly Hills at the same time. I don't know, I could be wrong. Anyway, that's besides the point.
Is there you'd mentioned that you're an unapologetic Garcelle fan. Is she does she have a lot of, like, I've not really seen online, do people not like her generally?
There's a lot of Garcelle hate out there. Because
I've seen people.
Garcelle seems to be polarizing for some people. Like, they either love her or hate her, which is surprising because I find her delightful. As you would say.
Yes, I would. And as an outsider, I mean, I guess maybe unless she was in previous seasons, I don't see anything like unlikable for her. It seems like people have attacked her for she's giving, she's not attacked. She never attacked Kyle. She just brought up Morgan's name. Right. And evidently that was an attack. But then, like, Erika and the rest of them being like, well, you don't talk about Erika didn't say that, she did in a confessional. Like, you don't talk about your life. So it seems like the things people are knocking Sutton for is she doesn't really talk about her personal life, which I get could be annoying. So
knocking Garcelle for?
Yeah, what'd I say?
Sutton.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
they're not the same person.
I always have Sutton on my mind. You know that. No, Garcelle. People, I guess, could knock for not showing enough of her personal life, or for always being, Sutton's, I hate using the term foot soldier, but, like, always having her back. I could see how people could I guess I could see how people could dislike her for that, but not enough to say she's polarizing. So that's why I'm like, I'd really be curious, like, if any of the listeners truly hate Garcelle, I'd really like to know why. Honestly, curiously, I'm not trying to pick fights with anybody. I just would like to know why.
Yeah, like put a note in the leave a comment, especially on YouTube. I mean, although I will say there are some comments on YouTube that people express why they don't like her. Look, I have loved her since Models Inc. If you know what I'm talking about with that show.
Yes, I do.
Hello. I've loved her since Models. I mean, look, I remember her from Coming to America.
I was going to say
that's not a huge role, but Models Inc. and Models Inc. predates the Jimmy Fox show. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. No,
she's saying. I've been a fan of hers for a very long time. And she did not, for me, disappoint on a reality show, because we don't know actors as real people. We don't even really know reality show people as real people, but sometimes you see them and you're like, oh, they're a different person. And they're like, I don't know about them.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
I guess fans, the whole doesn't want to talk about her own personal life. I guess I could see why fans resent that, because that's the whole point. That's the whole reason people are watching the show, is to know about these women's personal lives. But the ones that show the most of their personal lives end up getting very defensive and upset about people talking about their personal life. So maybe Garcelle was on to something by, like, hey, Garcelle could be dating a country singer. We don't know. I hope she is.
Because she doesn't call the paparazzi or go out to, the Brentwood Country Mart, which no longer exists. But,
rest in peace.
R.I.P. Anyway, Anyway, I really think that's really about it. I mean, Garcelle did call it a toxic sisterhood at the very end. I was like, yeah, it is a
Oh
toxic
yeah.
sisterhood.
Oh god. They could call they could name the show that, to be honest with
Yep.
you.
And we'd still watch it.
Yeah,
We'd
probably.
still watch it.
Probably.
Well, I mean, we already basically talked about the postscript, which was, really the 1 month later talking about Tom and whatever.
It was nothing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, the one other thing we did not is just the they have those cards, the like the title card type things that they do during the finale, saying, but even those, saying what everybody's been up to. Those said nothing. It said like Sutton and Dorit's relationship is still on ice. It's like, okay, well, we knew that. That's not news. Like none of them were particularly interesting. Like what are they up to now?
Well, and like we've said, this is a show too where not a ton of these women are really friends outside of the show. They are kind of like segregated into groups, I think. Like, Fox Force 5 is a thing, but like Kyle is actually friends with Teddy off the show, but not as close with Dorit off the show. And I don't even think as close with Erika, but somewhat close with Erika. But but Kyle has a ton of friends who are not on the show, period. And I think the same thing goes for Garcelle. I think Garcelle has a lot of friends off the show. Sutton is a friend on the show. But I think they're very close. I think they've become very close over the years, but it's not like they're also it's not like this cast is going and hanging out together. Orange County goes out and hangs out together.
I was just going to say that was jarring to go from one to the other, because those women, obviously not all of them, but you look at the social media posts, like the one Sutton, all of them, it's events. They're at events together. The Orange County, if you follow Gina or Jen, or they're all they're hanging out together. Like they genuinely seem friendly. Obviously they have enemies on the show, but they genuinely seem to like each other. Like Jordan's mentioned a million times, these women, it's like a business. These women are together because it's just the job. It's a job.
I mean, the interesting thing is like original Roni, those women were friends though too. Like Ramona and Sonia and Jill and Luann, like they were friends. So it's like there's a difference between some of these cities, and Beverly Hills is very much, I would say, like I think a business show. So these friendships are transactional.
It almost feels like bands that are created just created by a label. Like, I mean, I love them, but like One Direction, who were formed by Simon Cowell, just 5 different guys were going to put them together. They weren't necessarily friendly. That's sort of what it feels like with this, is that they're just putting pieces together, casting, be like, oh, this person would be good, even if they don't know anybody else, Like, I guess Anne Marie last year knew Kyle, but they right? It was Kyle Kyle was her in, right? Because they lived down the street from each other.
Yeah. I mean, look, because I know a little bit of insight, they do try to find people who are friends with, like, they do try to find friend groups or from friend groups, but it can be hard, because you also go through, and like, does somebody want to be on television? And then are they good enough to be on television and stuff like that? So that can be tough. Do they fit the kind of criteria? But a lot of times they are relatively loose affiliations, in order to be like, this is my friend, like, because technically Sutton brought Bose onto Beverly Hills. Like, let's not forget that.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Right? Yeah.
I honestly legitimately forgot about that.
Yeah. But they don't hang out on a show.
When I was talking earlier about how this is the first one-on-one they've had all season. That's completely slipped my mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Well,
okay.
We have the finale coming up. Part 1.
I mean the reunion
next week. Yep. I mean, yeah. Thank you. So make sure that you are following us on wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure that you are subscribed. We are so close. We're so close. You guys like really came through last week. We got a whole bunch of new subscribers, and so we're so close to that 1,000. So hit that subscribe. It's just free. It's just free. We are not asking you for money. or like to go to
Not the
St.
two,
Lucia for
not the
Carnival.
two of us. Somebody else might be.
Yeah, Jordan will always slip into your DMs. That's how we all met. Jordan's slipping into those DMs.
Jordan can be bought. He can be bought.
Yep. If you want to buy Jordan, why don't you also follow us on all of our socials? TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky. We're all there. Make our Beverly Hills dreams come true. Maybe we can meet our next Sam Simon and then divorce him and get as much money off of whatever's the next new hit cartoon out there.
We want Simpsons money. We don't want Bride of Chucky money.
No Bride of Chucky money. I want Simpsons money too. Yep. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Do you want to say goodbye, Nate?
Adios.